Our position's the same as it was last Friday. Scotty Scheffler didn't do anything wrong. We're not interested in settling the case. We will either try it or it'll be dismissed. It's very simple. All the evidence that continues to come out just continues to support what Scotty said all along. This was a chaotic situation and a miscommunication, and he didn't do anything wrong.
Were you expecting him to be dropped today?
I've been doing this 30 years. I don't expect anything. We're prepared to litigate the case if need to. If we don't need to, fine, but our position remains the same. It will either be dismissed or we'll go to trial.
Why do you think that Mike O'Connell went to court the other day?
I can't speculate on anybody else's reasoning. As they said, we'll let the process play out. My role in the process is to represent Scotty Scheffler, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Nothing has changed since my comment last Friday. He didn't do anything wrong. We will go to trial, or the case will be dismissed. We have no interest in settling the case. There's no discussions regarding that. We're prepared to litigate it as deeply.
Steve, the mayor mentioned two pieces of video. Are you aware of other
I've
video?
seen everything that there is to see. Everything that is out there supports exactly what Scotty has said from the start.
How much is out?
And a good afternoon to you, Ryan in Sacktown, coming to you as always, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., the King's Court Live. Happy to have you here. You know the drill. You can call the show 916-399-3748. Also, you can call through Restream. The link is in the chat. Go check that out. I will be posting that throughout the show if you would like to join. Your chat, more than welcomed as well. We've got a full show to get to. I said this on the shoot around this morning. My apologies. I was dragging yesterday. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I ate a bigger lunch than normal. Maybe I did. I had a bigger lunch than I usually do. That was probably it. But I am full of energy and ready to go. We had our 8 o'clock post-game show last night. That was a lot of fun. We'll be running it back again tonight, Grant and I, 8 o'clock after Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Hey, huge shout out, by the way, to R. Dizzle. My bad for not getting to that towards the end of the show. Hit us with a $10 super chat. So much appreciated. Thank you very much. If you would like to donate, you certainly can. Venmo donations above my shoulder. That way. And also super chats, but they are not necessary. Your viewership, your support in this community is more than enough. Look, we have got the hard nose.
How about no?
Or glows. With Rhino, we're going to get to those here in a little bit. We've got a few different subjects that we will breach in that segment. We can add to the list as well. If you would like to bring some ideas forward, we can kick those around at the beginning. I open with the audio of Scotty Scheffler's attorney today. Also, there was a press conference by the mayor of Louisville. If you have not stayed up to date on this case, I'm going to reset it here in a little bit. I've told you a few times there's some messaging in the King's Court. You know, I did work in a previous life. So I had given you my opinion in real time as this played out with Scotty Scheffler at the PGA Championship. Again, I'll reset that in a second. Huge congratulations to Domas Sabonis, named All-NBA, third team. We'll break down the voting there, talk about who made each team, what it means for the league going forward. Some guys now available for Supermax contracts, which isn't a big surprise. The names that are, you knew they were going to get them anyways, and they would be All-NBA. But a big honor for Domas, somebody that got snubbed. He legit got snubbed this year. Not putting Fox in that same category, because Domas overachieved from the season before when he made the All-Star team. And the fact that he at least got this honor, to me, it's the most important of any of the honors outside of MVP that he could have received this season. So we can get to that. Some reports surfacing. Kings ownership not happy with Mike Brown. Did you see what happened in Cleveland? JB Bickerstaff fired today by the Cleveland Cavaliers. You look at how he took that program over, and I know they didn't have sustained playoff success, but you had some play-in appearance, or I believe you had a play-in appearance, play-off appearance. Pretty damn good for a guy looking to turn a program around. So what's that say? Was that a move that was targeted at Donovan Mitchell? Maybe Donovan Mitchell not too high on JB Bickerstaff. I'm not trying to draw a direct line there, but that has been the conversation amongst the national talking heads, that Cleveland is making moves to cater towards Donovan Mitchell and getting him to stay in Cleveland. Now, with the Mike Brown reports, I find it really curious, the timing. Does this have anything to do with re-signing Malik Monk? No concrete evidence there, but we've had this huge jigsaw puzzle that we've tried to put together this season, or of the Kings season, as we do the post-mortem, as Dave and Jason call it, on the Kings. And we've just got all these giant gaps, right? We've got these puzzle pieces, but some of them don't fit. And we're trying to, navigate, see if we can pinpoint what was different between the season before and this last season. Now, is it out of the realm of possibilities that some people, some members of the Kings may not be big fans of Mike Brown? No, it's not out of the realm. I'll touch on that a little bit later in the show when we do our hard nose or glows with Rhino. And of course, your calls, get up in here. You can take the show any direction you want. In fact, we don't just have to talk Kings. If there's something else you want to talk about, we can get to it. Hell, I've got thrifting as part of the hard no and glow segment. I'll tell you about my thrifting story that happened yesterday. I'm not too ashamed to say that I like thrifting. Now, the conflict comes when you find a special item. Like sometimes when parents, one of my friends, actually, Haunted Horse, put it this way. He's like, when kids go away to college, they just want to get the room cleared out. They want to turn it into an office. And by the way, I went through that. I think within a month of me going to SDSU, my dad had turned my room into an office. And you know what's funny about that? He's a pilot. Why the hell does a pilot need an office? I thought your office is the cockpit the last time I checked. Maybe they just wanted me out. But anyway, sometimes good stuff gets donated. And when you find an item like that, is it like, all right, I believe in karma. I think what goes around comes around. A firm believer in that. And, when you find a gem, is it bad karma to turn around and try to make a profit on it? And I'm not trying to crap on anybody's business, because I know people that do that for a living and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you don't do that for a living, what's the protocol there? Do you enjoy the item? Do you keep the item? Do you try to make a little money off of it? What do you do? Because from time to time, you will find gems. And by the way, I've gone to Goodwill before and bought jeans and found money in the pockets of the jeans. So that's two-sided. You never know what you're going to find. But on the flip side, they don't wash the clothes. So how do you feel about that? Let's get to the chat. Let's see what all of you want to talk about to start the show off. John, what's up, my man? thank you so much. Give us a thumbs up. We would appreciate it. We are grinding it out here in the off season on If You Don't Like That. Loving the daily show. Hope you guys are enjoying it as well. In fact, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they've only dropped into the show a couple times, but one of the things that struck them was the names in the chat. Each time they come to the show, they see the same names. More than that, they see the same names corresponding with each other. It's like we're building this community here, and it's in its infancy, and I absolutely love it. So let's keep it going. Give us a thumbs up. It does matter to the algorithm. Big year from Noah Fant this season. There you go, Cody. Noah Fant. Didn't think I was going to hear that name. Did the Hawks keep Quinn Snyder? Maybe he could end up in Cleveland. I don't think Quinn Snyder was fired off the top of my head. Help me out there. Good question. Goodwill is decent. Yes, it is. I do not have a problem with the goodwill whatsoever. You know what I do have a problem with? I did one of my ride-dos on this. If you're going to go donate at Goodwill, it's like, you ever see the episode of Seinfeld with the soup Nazi? The soup Nazi? Put your order in and keep your ass moving. But instead, you get these people, and the Goodwill lines, at least here in Elk Grove, because it's a newer a Goodwill, the line is so long usually to donate. We used to have all these Goodwill Expresses where you could go and donate there really easily. Now you got to go to the main Goodwill. And the last time I donated, there was a lady that not only was not prepared, she started picking through the bins that the Goodwill employees had not gone through yet. Like picking through them while the car is still sitting there parked. And then she had her kid come out and start looking. And I'm like, what are we doing? Even the Goodwill people. They're like, hey, you can't do this. And she's like, oh, well, let me pull my car forward. Guess what she does? She pulls it forward like maybe 5 feet. Maybe still blocking the donation line. And they're like, come on, lady, you got to move. So I appreciate her for donating things, but she wasn't even packed up and ready to go, man. Come on, do better. Do better. Flores, what's up, my man? Any validity to Ham's report about Mike Brown? Haven't seen anyone else report that. How do I put this? Yeah, I think there is some validity to it. I don't have enough to run with it. And I know I'm kind of in the middle where it's like, Rhino, are you reporting on the team? Are you covering the team? Are you analyzing the team? I don't know. I'm kind of like that hybrid club in your golf bag, but I do abide by a lot of the standards that the other journalists do, which is if you've got a source, you don't reveal it. You got to confirm, you've got to verify numerous ways before you run with something, because quite frankly, if you don't do it the right way, people aren't going to trust you. And I've already got a hard enough hurdle to get over being the new guy on the scene, right? And these are our bodies of work. So to answer your question, Flores, yes, last season, I heard numerous rumblings about players on the Kings that were not a fan of Mike Brown. I'm not going to say any names, but to indirectly answer your question, there is something to it. And for James, who is plugged into the team, and realize the sensitivity behind that as well, because the team giveth, the team can taketh. Damon Bruce talked about that a lot when he came on the Kings court about credentialing and how that works, that difficult dance that goes into it. So we can get more into James's report. If you would like, I do have a little segment on the Mike Brown situation coming up. Any surprise inclusions or snubs for All-NBA? Let's run them down really quick. SGA, first team. Jokic, first team. Doncic, first team. You got Giannis and then Tatum rounding out the first team, and we can go over the votes. Second team, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis. Now, here's the surprise to me, Condog, that Anthony Davis played enough games to qualify, that Kawhi Leonard played enough games to qualify. Durant usually, well, he has been injury prone, so those are surprises to me. Third team, LeBron, Steph, Domas, Tyrese Halliburton. There you go. He's getting some love there. And Devin Booker. So, no, as I look at it on the surface, not a lot of big surprises. Maybe you could interchange a couple of the big guys, but Anthony Davis played well this year. I think he played 70 or more games. Devin Booker, is there another choice out there? Booker had a good year, but Phoenix had a down year. And life was a little difficult on him. Now, here's something interesting. Both Halliburton and Booker did not receive any first-team votes. Domas actually did receive one first-team vote. I did like to see that, and that is as many. So other guys that only received one first-team vote, they also include Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard. So we can talk about all that a little bit more if you would like. I want to transition, though, really quick to what we started with Scottie Scheffler. That was Scottie's attorney who was talking to the media earlier today. Now, for those that may be living under a rock or were on vacation or maybe don't follow golf, although this kind of turned Scottie Scheffler mainstream. If you follow golf, he's the dude. He is the guy. He is the number one. But he doesn't have that outside, or he didn't have up until this point, that name recognition. You know, the Tiger Woods, the Phil Mickelsons, that type of thing. And in some ways, this incident kind of, as we would say, or as they would say in the wrestling business, it strapped the rocket to him, and it was a giant face turn for Scottie Scheffler, even though he was already a face. But getting back to this situation, Scottie Scheffler was driving in to the PGA Championship for his second round. There was a fatal accident on the roadway. It was a one-lane roadway each way, where somebody affiliated with the tournament tragically lost his life. He was hit by a bus. And there was a investigation going on. Traffic was backed up. And the story that initially came out was that Scottie Scheffler drove over a median and then dragged a cop who told him to stop. And the cop was dragged, I believe it was 10 feet. His pants were ruined, his $80 pants on the ground. And therefore, he was arrested. Now, Jeff Darlington, he was standing right there for some of it. And we knew this. When that happened and when we learned about the incident, we said camera angles are going to come out. There's going to be cameras everywhere because it was literally right in front of the entrance to Valhalla. Well, today, another video comes out. And actually, let me take a step back. The day that it happened, where Scottie was put in jail, I believe the felony, it was a felony. It was criminal mischief and I believe abuse or assault on an officer, something along those lines, right? Well, he's taken to jail and it's on a Friday. And I'm not one to say I know exactly how the Kentucky court systems work because I don't. I know California. I don't know Kentucky. And usually I would say on a Friday, if you get charged with a felony, and I know it was fairly early in the morning, you're probably going to see a judge at some point. You're probably going to be arraigned or just have a quick bail hearing to determine whether or not you can get bail and get out. Now, that happens on a Friday evening. That happens on a Saturday morning. You're probably in jail until Monday. So Scottie's in jail. He did the play-by-play. He was watching on Get Up, what was going on with the tournament. He even said he was stretching in the jail cell, et cetera, et cetera. And so, I love it. Thank you so much, Alberto. The show is part of my must-watch shows now, Rhino. That means the world, Alberto. You are one of those people I was talking about that we see in the chat every day. And you guys will always be, you guys and gals, the OGs of the King's Court Live, because this show's here to stay. We're going to have some fun with this show. I mean, we're only, the live version? Or we're less than a month into it. And every day it seems like we have one more viewer, and that's a testament to all of you. So thank you very much, Alberto. Glad I can make that workday a little bit easier. We want to be that place for Sacramento sports before your drive home. So that is the goal. And look, a lot of people are building digital networks these days. Dan Lebitard, brilliant. Smart man, left at ESPN, built up a podcast network, different personalities, thriving. They're doing a great job. That's where this is moving. So I'm not saying we're going to be Dan Lebitard, but I'm saying there's a model to follow. It takes time. And we are in that time building process, and it's been great so far. So getting back to Scotty, he gets released from jail without seeing a judge. He's released from jail, and this was the thing that perked my ears up. Without any bail. He didn't have to post anything. Now, sometimes you will be released on your own recognizance, but seeing that he does not make Kentucky his place of resident, there's a couple barriers there that usually the courts will take into an account. Obviously, Scotty's way of life, that is a big thing. Let's see. Speaking of Sacramento sports, what a few days for the Republic. No doubt, Sea-Dog. I wasn't all clued in and dialed into the Cal Expo situation. I know Dave was all over that, or at least I heard he was all over that yesterday. And I know Dave's very close with that program, Sac Republic, but we did touch on it last night. They're doing a lot of really good things that other teams in their league aren't necessarily doing. I mean, they're building up the youth in this area. I believe the Republic have somebody signed to their team that is still, I don't even think he's old enough to drive. So doing some good stuff. I'm glad they made that right. But yeah, the Republic, isn't that one of those funny things? We'll save that for a little bit because I do want to come back to that. It's like MLS, I get it. Sacramento probably will support any type of team. You've seen that Sacramento will support the Republic FC, but my goodness, the buy-in to get into MLS, I mean, will you ever see that investment back? I mean, that's a long-term investment in a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. So I find that whole conversation very interesting, and we can do that a little bit more. All right, hopping around back to Mr. Scheffler and his situation. So Scotty released, goes and plays that day in the tournament, does a great job. Well, the first thing that I said was I was shocked that he was released without bail. The second thing was I was shocked he was released that quickly. Let's fast forward to today. Additional camera footage has come out from the incident. You can go online. Don't do it now, but you can go find it. There's a couple buses that are in the way of one of the camera angles. However, this camera angle that I believe came from a telephone pole or a light pole, it paints a much different, and I mean different, picture of this interaction with the officer. I mean, from what you can see in this camera angle, Scotty seemed to be, number one, following somebody's direction. Number two, he's in a car that is a courtesy vehicle that is given out to the players for the week. It's clearly marked. It's clear as day. And they're nice cars. I think it was a Range Rover or a Land Rover, all right? Well, Scotty starts slowly driving to the right and going to turn into Valhalla, and this cop just goes to knock the window out of his car. And then the cop grabs on, and Scotty is literally just kind of tiptoeing with the car. And at no point do you see an officer hit the ground. At no point does it appear the car is dragging the officer's feet, at least from my perspective. And to make matters even worse, none of the officers or the officer who is responsible for arresting Scotty Scheffler did not have his body camera on. No audio, no camera of what happened. And let me tell you, this other camera angle really, really calls into question what this officer thought happened, what he felt happened through his own experience. And the police report, it is in writing. And I don't know if maybe something happened that you can't see because of the buses, but it's starting to look like this was a bullshit report. And this may have been a bullshit arrest. So that was Scotty's attorney. And remember this, by the way, the arraignment was pushed back by request of Scotty's counsel. So the mayor comes out and says, we're moving forward. I'm paraphrasing here. And as you heard Scotty's attorney say, let's go. Let's go to trial. Let's do whatever. We're ready to go. And the fact that the officer who was involved is already facing disciplinary action for not turning on his body camera, that's really telling right there. So here, in my legal opinion, is what's going on. Louisville PD knows they have a problem on their hands. The mayor knows they have a problem on their hands. But if they drop all of the charges, think about this entire incident that happened around Scotty. ABC News broke in to midday or morning coverage to cover this. It was a special report. So to put Scotty through that, nonetheless, during a major tournament, which he didn't win, he was kind of in contention for a little bit. But could you imagine? I mean, golf is already one of those Zen games. It's one of those games where you have to visualize what you're going to do. You have to have full confidence. You have to commit to any shot that you are making. You have to have a short memory, right? But can you imagine, let alone going out and playing 18 after being arrested just at your local muni, but a major championship? So I'm going to go overboard here and go PI attorney. Lost wages, perhaps, for Scotty Scheffler here? I mean, there's some things at play, but the bottom line is this. This is political now. They know, in my opinion, that this was a big misunderstanding. And by all accounts, this officer fudged a report and also fudged the story of what happened. And obviously, that officer knew that body cam was not recording. There's no way. And I would venture to say the first thing that came down from that police chief when Scotty was arrested is download your body cams right now or hand them over. Usually it's hand them over to a third party within the department to download them. So there's no funny business. Obviously, you have a transaction sheet that tracks who has been in receipt or possession of said body cams, etc. So the clear solution here is the charges need to be dropped. That's the clear solution to me. At no time does Scotty Scheffler appear to be aggressive. Does he appear to be driving fast? Does he appear to be driving recklessly? At no time, at least in this new camera angle that has come out. So it becomes really who's going to have the cake on their face. And right now, it's Louisville PD. And I told you guys, and I told Grant this right after it happened, the fact that the co-owner of Valhalla went to pick Scotty up from the jail, that tells you a lot in itself right there, where the support was. And I mean, think about Valhalla. You're probably pretty good friends with the police department, probably pretty good friends with the higher up in the city, because that is such an elite course. That is such a destination for some people to go play. So to publicly come forward and kind of say, hey, we're not with what you did, because that's indirectly what you're saying by going to pick up Scotty instead of sending his agent, sending somebody that the media is not going to recognize when the car comes into the driveway of Valhalla. That said what you needed to see there. But Louisville PD, how much chicken do they want to play? Because Scotty's attorney ain't screwing around. And the way I see it, Scotty's got the evidence on his side right now. And at the very least, if he doesn't have the evidence, I have seen cases dropped for things like this, where there is no body camera footage and it is word against word, especially when it's a he said, she said. So it is a very bad look for this officer. It is a very bad look for this police department. And if they continue to press forward with trying to prosecute Scotty, with trying to move this thing to try to get something to stick, I would say now, seeing this video, and again, very limited information, I'm just going off of whatever you all can watch as well, and listening to the parties involved. I mean, it at the most, it should be an infraction. At the very most, it should be an infraction. And look, there's bad apples in every situation. I don't want to paint this officer into a corner. I don't know this officer. I don't know his record as a police officer. So who am I to question his ethics? Who am I to question the type of cop that he is? However, big mistake not turning on your body camera. There's mistake number one. Big mistake there. Now, mistake number two. If that police report does not match what other angles of video would show, then you've got a bigger problem there. Maybe this guy made a mistake. Maybe he thought it would be a cover up. Maybe he thought his other officers, what do they call it? The code of silence or whatever. I don't know if that exists. I mean, certainly to a degree, we have heard cops have been put in different positions when it comes to arresting their own, arresting public figures. There's many of videos online where you can see officers pulling over other officers for DUIs or traffic tickets. And, it's the, hey, are you recording? What's going on? Can you get me off? Well, come on, you got to do me the little tip of the hat, right? No, you can't do that in this day and age. And what makes it a little bit worse here, and this is an important fact too, Scotty Scheffler never said, I'm Scotty Scheffler. Not one time during this process until they started, when he had to turn over his ID, when they started trying to verify him, run him through the system, make sure he doesn't have any warrants. Scotty talked about an issue that happened where the social security number was not matching up. They said, oh, well, you're not from Kentucky, so maybe it's because of that, yada, 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 right? What scares the hell out of me is, what if that officer did. He didn't know that was a famous person. He clearly didn't. He had no idea. And unfortunately, this day and age, we said it that day, someone is always recording. Now, when it's Scotty Scheffler and it's a situation like this, you can bet your ass that there's going to be a ton of cameras recording, a ton. And so we'll see where it goes from here, but it is not a good look for the Louisville Police Department. It is a very poor look for this officer. And the fact that he has already publicly been disciplined for not turning on his camera, man, it just tells you, it seems like there's a snowball and it's really starting to go downhill. So I'd love to get your comments on that. What do you think? We'll pay attention to the situation. And again, it's funny. In some ways, this has made Scotty Scheffler even a bigger star. He's a massive baby face. He's the Cody Rhodes of the PGA Tour right now. So incredible stuff. Very incredible. Flores hopping in. Let's just drop the charges. Cops to apologize. Cop on administrative paid leave for a week. Move on. Not my decision. I mean, the problem is, when you're in a position like that, an officer, somebody that takes an oath, you break that oath one time, you open up Pandora's box at that point. You really do. Think about some of these officers that have been found to be doing illegal things, and it comes to light because of something stupid during a traffic stop. But then it's like, hey, I wonder if there's anybody else out there. Could anybody else have been in this position before with the officer? And then the phone starts ringing, right? And now it's time to look back at every case of this officer, at least the cases that have gone to court. That could easily happen, but it's a career. It's a career breaker, man. This is national TV. This is worldwide. I don't know that if he fudged a report, if he was not dragged. And speaking of the pants, watch the video. The guy never falls down in the video that I saw. Never saw it once. I think it's bigger than that. It is. And this attorney, credit to Scotty's attorney, I would be doing the exact same thing. I would be like a fly on you know what on this city, this county, because bad. C-Dog hopping in tells a lot of him as a player after he performed that day. Amen. C-Dog, he nailed it on hole 1. I think he put it the first day he holes out, I believe, on hole 1, second shot. And then his approach on hole 1, the day he was arrested, 4 feet. I'm probably being generous by saying 4 feet. Romanowski, I don't want to hop there and make assumptions that it is a cover up, but it doesn't look good. Here's the thing. It smelt bad from the beginning. Like any of you, and I know I'm inevitably going to alienate somebody here by saying this, but there's certain sushi buffets in this area. And when you go to eat someplace like that, you know what you're getting yourself into. Certain foods should not be buffets. Sushi is one of them. And when you walk into a place that, I don't know, it's not exactly cold, it feels muggy in there. There's dirty water floating around that you pick your sushi boat off of. It's just not a good thing. It stinks. And that's what this case did. It stunk. And it is only getting worse for Louisville. Cops quick to use excessive force. You know what? Cops have an incredibly difficult job. I'm not here to knock police. I support the police. I support our first responders. They are doing a job that many of us are not willing to do. I mean, how many of you outside of, the final destination stuff where we get in our cars and who knows, anything could happen, right? We're not in control. We're in control of our vehicle, but not the ones passing us, Sure, there's a risk that something could happen to you anytime you step out of the house. Hell, you don't even have to step out of your house, right? But imagine doing a job every day that you might be leaving the house for the last time. I mean, a real possibility. You might not be coming home to your family. When danger arises, you run towards it. You don't run away. So, yes, with that comes a great responsibility. And there's been cases proven where excessive force has happened and does happen. And anybody these days that says there's an uptick on it or anything like that, I have a really hard time subscribing to that for the simple fact of you've heard these stories for so many years. I had an experience when I was, I'll share it quite frankly with you. Me and my friend, my first car, it wasn't a bad car, but it wasn't a nice car either. I mean, it wasn't a Audi or something like that. And he lived in a very nice neighborhood here in Elk Grove, and we were in his neighborhood. Now, We made the mistake here. We drove past the cop a second time because we wanted to see who was being pulled over. That was not a good move. But all of a sudden we were almost rear-ended by the police officer, and we were pulled out at gunpoint, and it was terrifying. Now, little did the police officer know that his dad was an attorney, and his dad was home, and his dad went to Harvard, where my friend ended up going for law school, and both of him we were taking law classes in the summer. We were taking summer law classes. So we knew our rights. We knew what was going on. I think we were in a torts class that summer. And anyways, it was more or less confirmed that it was a situation where it's a car that didn't look like it should be in that neighborhood. And I can't knock them on that. I mean, it was a Saturn, it had chrome around the wheels. It's a little flashy, right? Bad look. The things that we used to do with our cars as kids. You remember? It's like you got to get your amp, you got to get your subs, you got to get that all dialed in, and then came the screens that popped out from the dash. Yeah. But it happens. There was too much force that day. There was a formal apology, etc. But getting back to my point, the point of what I was saying is, I think that technology has caught up to some people that may not be operating exactly as they should. And I want to be very clear, that spans every single walk of life, whether you like it or not. So excessive force, it's hard for me to say. I have never been in the military. I respect the hell. In fact, one of the things we've taught our son is that if you see somebody in uniform, you go up, you shake their hand, and you tell them, thank you for your service. You look them dead in the eye. And I know that got a little weird around COVID time because it's not like, hey, what's up? But he needs to know that, those people that do that, some of you, I'm sure, may work in law enforcement or as firemen, firefighters, be in the military, right? You're just cut from a different cloth. You are. Some people are not made to do that, but some are. But again, it happens in any walk of life. I just think that there's so many more cameras out there. It's just getting caught now. It's more accessible to see for everybody. Too many bad cops in the United States. Yeah, see, I don't want to go down this road. I'm not cop hating. I've said nothing more than outline a conversation that has been ongoing in this nation for a really long time. And the king's court is not a place for politics. It's not a place for religion. It's not a place for that stuff. You don't come here for that, and I respect that. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds. Romanowski, thank you, by the way, Bane. Thanks, Bane. Appreciate it, brother. Romanowski, the car was a PGA Tour marked car. Yes, it was. Officer wasn't in uniform during the incident. Interesting. Romanowski coming back in. Cops think they're above the law. See, I don't want to paint things with broad brushes. I'm not ready to do that. I don't think that's a fair comment. Not every cop is above the law. And again, you don't know what goes into their job until you live a day in their shoes. It's really hard to say. Gunpoint, that's crazy. Yeah, it was. It was nuts. I mean, on the ground with a gun pointed at you for what? Nothing. Literally nothing. The reason was they couldn't see my registration tag. And it was clear as day. It was in the window because my car, I think at that time, was not passing smog. And then the other thing was the registration thing was in the back window. And there was no way when we passed the officer that he would have seen that. There was just literally no way. So it is what it is. I share the story because it happens to people. And that was before. I mean, think about it. It's fairly new that officers have had to start wearing body cameras. And I think it's a great thing. It protects them and it protects you, or at least it should. So, anyways, I don't want to get too far into the weeds with the Scotty Scheffler and police talk in America because we're here for sports, but definitely a story to keep your eye on. And to me, anything less than the charges being dropped is a misjustice to me. The charges need to be dropped. They are simply trying, in my opinion, to save face, trying to get anything to stick that they can. And that's why I love the attitude of Scotty's attorney. He's like, nah, You want to stick me with a parking in the wrong spot, driving over the line? I don't care. We're going to trial. We've got the trump card on you. And I am not so sure they don't, just because, again, the timeline doesn't make sense. It felt like we messed up. That's why Scotty got out of jail really quick, back to the course, and then the rest starts falling into place. So that is the latest on Scotty Scheffler. You are watching the King's Court live here on If You Don't Like That. Happy to have you here. Ryan in Sacktown, taking you up to probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock. We'll see. Just put the link back in the chat if you would like to call the show via Restream. You don't have to be on video for that. You can also call the show 916-399-3748. Shout out to Chad. Shout out to TC. They used the line the other day. That was a lot of fun. I've got it pulled up right here on the other computer. So we will hear you call through. So we've been trying to get to the hard nose or glows the last couple of days. Let's get to them. There's more than a few things to talk about, and I've got a couple different things up there that we're going to go over, and I'd love for you to add to the list. We haven't even hit on the game last night between Dallas and Minnesota. That was an interesting one. Anybody have Dallas going into Minnesota, winning that game the way that they did on Minnesota's home court? I did not. Dallas showed me now, and we had this discussion on If You Don't Like That last night, because inevitably, if Luka is doing something and doing it well, it comes up, oh, well, Sacramento made a mistake. They didn't draft him. We get back into that talk. And, we kind of flipped it on its head because Grant shared some information about Vlade and the draft process and some of the workouts that Bagley had here in Sacramento. He shared that last night. But the thing that people fail to realize about this, and I pointed it out last night, and everybody was on board with it, is drafting Luka wasn't just drafting a guy to come into the team. You are drafting your team when you get Luka, and that means the pieces that are already on that roster, they either need to be compatible with Luka, or you've got to flip that team, because the way that Luka plays basketball is so much different. You think that Hallie and Fox wasn't working? Imagine Fox and Luka. Fox would have been gone in that scenario. And you're probably not drafting. Anyways, let's not get too far into the weeds. But to see Kyrie Irving, look, Kyrie's always had a very big personality, a little bit different at times. But when he's on, he is on. And there were times when he started his run in Dallas, I remember hearing some things about Kyrie from some sources within the Kings, because I believe Sacramento was one of the first games Kyrie played. It was either the first or second. I think it was the second game that Kyrie played for Dallas in a Dallas uniform. And it was the typical Kyrie stuff that you would expect. However, it was the stuff that usually would come, 8 months, 12 months down the road of having Kyrie. It immediately started when he got to Dallas. And now looking at Kyrie, it's almost like he has embraced this role. He knows who the top dog is on that team. And Kyrie, I think, is actually enjoying playing, I don't want to say second fiddle, but he's embraced that role, which comes with getting different looks. It comes with different things you're contributing to the offense, different ways that you're playing defensively. And one of the things that stuck out to me last night was, my goodness, did they make Ant play on defense? I mean, Ant was running. And with a guy like that, even though he is a great two-way player, he's human. He's going to get tired. And yeah, he did work well with LeBron, but it didn't last, right? And ultimately, he wanted to be the guy. He wanted to do his own thing. You haven't seen that come up with Dallas. And, Kyrie stays in Dallas. I really like the two of them together. It is working out. There is enough basketball for the two of them. Now, is there enough basketball for everybody? Probably not. But that's part of the Luka experience. C-Dog hopping in. Crazy that Luka has more All-NBA first-team appearances than guys like Steph Curry and Bill Russell. Is that true? Very interesting. Good pull, C-Dog. Very good pull there. Did not know that. So anyways, getting back to last night, what I saw was exactly the way that you cannot beat the Mavericks. You have got to extend your defense. You have to. And Minnesota is really good at extending their defense as well. That was part of the success they had against Denver. Didn't happen last night. And Luka able to have his way. Kyrie had a good game. And the Timberwolves just couldn't really get over the hump. Here's the other thing that really impressed me. And this is what I look for between, we talk about good teams, very good teams, and great teams. Great teams to me on the road, whether it's the regular season or whether it's the playoffs. It's more important in the playoffs, obviously, but great teams, when they're trailing on the road or it's back and forth for maybe the first half, which, Dallas, they were trailing. They had to play catch up. The half ends, I believe it was a 2-point difference in favor of Minnesota. I could be wrong there. But as you got into the second half, once Dallas got the lead late in the game, they never gave it up. That, to me, is one of the most important traits, especially when you're playing on the road, of a great team. So that opened my eyes last night. Now, do I think that home court matters in this series? No, it does not matter in this series. Minnesota won 3 games against the defending champions on the road in their last series with the Nuggets. So I think it's big that Minnesota get the next game. I think they need to balance things out. But huge win last night for Dallas. And then again, you get the Eastern Conference Finals coming back into the picture tonight. As I said, called the show 916-399-3748. You can also call us through Restream. Video is optional. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. As we normally start the day with calls, we bring in Corn Dog. What is up, my brother? Welcome to the show.
What's up, Ryan? What's up, King's Court? So I had a little longer drive home, and I had to stop at the car wash. So
there you go.
Yeah, I take advantage of my I have an unlimited package with one of our car washes here, so I go once a week.
Cool.
Get my money.
You should be using it more if you're unlimited, man. I'd be going there every day.
Oh man, no, every day that's excessive.
Okay. What color is your car?
Orange.
Orange? What kind of car is it?
Orange. Yeah, it looks just like my safety shoes.
That's funny. What kind of car is it?
No, it's just a Kia.
Oh, okay, Kia. There you go. The official vehicle of the NBA. Did Blake Griffin?
That's right.
Did he jump over your Kia?
Of course, as an NBA fan, I have to. Also with my NBA backboard laundry hamper too. Yeah, I gotta have an official NBA vehicle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So what's up, my brother?
So I actually wanted to talk with you. What's your favorite sports movie?
Rudy, hands down.
Rudy?
Yep.
Mine's Remember the Titans.
Okay. You guys can put your favorite movies in the chat
Yeah,
too.
everyone else, put it in the chat. Let's
throw
go.
it in the chat. Best sports movie. So why is it Remember the Titans?
One, it came out when I was like 4, 5. I absolutely loved the whole camaraderie that they went through, battling racism in Virginia and how they become like, a special team and how they understood each other, not only as players, but as men. And yeah, and it had some really great actors in there. Denzel Washington, Ryan Hurst, who played the one that ended up in the wheelchair. I actually met him over at Stockton Con, actually, too. Nice guy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was there with Ron Perlman for Sons of Anarchy, which was, a Stockton show, so it's big around here.
Okay. Good stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'll give you the justification really quick for Rudy. My family has always been really big Notre Dame fans.
Oh, okay.
And actually, on my dad's side, my grandma was second cousins with Terry Henready. We have Henredys in our family. And so that kind of spurred the Notre Dame thing. But when I went to my dad and I was like, hey, I want to play football. And that was like third grade. I want to say third or fourth. And he's like, okay, you want to play football? You're going to watch this movie. And for whatever reason, Rudy, it was me. I have lived my life that way. It's my story. Now, it wasn't my story getting into school like Rudy had to get into Notre Dame, but being told you're too small, being told that, all those things. In fact, I think I talked about it the other day. My mom saved an article from when I was at SDSU, and it was like waiting for the call, and they referenced Rudy. And then the first time that Grant asked me to be on his podcast, he did the word association with me because I had done it with him like a month earlier. And he's like, Ryan in Sacktown. And I'm like, Rudy, 100% Rudy. If I want something, I'm not going to stop till I get it. So I love that movie. Brings me to freaking tears. I just said freaking again. Brings me to tears every time I see it.
Yeah, that Rudy's can't go wrong with Rudy. It's it's one of the sports movie classics, like classics. Like some people say something from like the 2000s class. Well, Rudy's way before that.
Oh yeah. It was the
Rudy's
first when DVD players come out. You might be too young for this. We went to Circuit City off of Florin Road, and I think that's the one where they had the incident. But we got a DVD player like when they first came out. Astronomical prices.
Yeah. If you guys don't understand, that's the reason why they were stolen DVD players in the original Fast and Furious movies, because they were high demand items.
They were super high demand items, and the only DVD we bought that day, because they were so damn expensive, they were like $60, was Rudy. So
yeah. So that's actually kind of how it is with 4K right now. With 4K players, I think they're like cheapest you can get is actually the PS5, which is like $400 to $500. And then some of the 4Ks, I think they could range from like 30, 60. It just depends. Yeah, that's just how it cycles.
No doubt. So if we're gonna say best sports movie, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time. I know Remember the Titans is in my top 10. I have Dark Knight up there. I love that movie. I love Heath Ledger's performance in that movie. Fantastic performance. What's another? Saving Private Ryan's a good one. I love Jurassic Park. Back to the Future. Oh man,
there's a lot of good ones. There's maybe we should do we could do a King's Court like round robin or tournament of movies where we debate them and we see who goes on to the next round. That might be kind of fun.
Might have to be by genre because if you're debating someone that are, you're debating two movies that are almost polar opposites, like let's just say Inglourious Bastards versus Toy Story.
Yeah. Oh, see, it's like you think you have one, and then like you say a movie like Toy Story, and it's like, oh crap, I forgot about that.
And they're so vastly different. You can't even compare it. Like again, both great movies in their own right, but yeah, can't even like one's a gory World War II, kind of comical in some area movie, and the other's a animated movie about toys coming to life.
Yeah, it was so good though when it came
Yeah.
out. So good. You got any predictions for tonight?
I'm gonna say it's a revenge game for Indiana. They're gonna tie it up.
All right. I love it, my man. Well, dude, thanks for coming in. Thanks for letting us know about your orange car. I mean, at least you can see your car from a distance if you park
Oh,
in
dude,
a
I'm never
big
lost.
parking lot.
What? I had literally last Sunday with a coworker. She drives a white Accord, and which very common in a parking lot. It's like, where do I park? I'm like, you see, this is why I drive the orange Kia.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, my car's silver, so
Oh, yours is another common. Yeah.
yeah, it blends in. But I'm so happy I have silver. If it wasn't for the hard water spots in Elk Grove, I would really like it.
All right.
So, all right, dude. Well, have a great rest of the day. Appreciate you kicking us off here on the King's Court, my man.
Later.
Later, corn dog. That is Corn Dog, always making it better. You can make it better as well. Putting the link back in the chat. If you want to call, you can also call traditionally. Got the phone right next to me, 916-399-3748. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's have some fun with this. I see you starting to put movies into the chat. Everybody's chiming in, and I'm glad you are. So after the show today, I will go look at a chat replay, and I'm going to write all of these down. And maybe we will seed them, and we'll figure out where we come out. Who makes the final four? Who makes the finals? Who makes the best movie of all time? I'm going to go from the bottom. The last ones that came in. Mark, Gladiator. You know what? You all will be very appalled by me in the amount of movies I have not seen because I'm not really a big movie guy. But the ones that I love, I'll stick to them. I'm tried and true with them. But Gladiator, here we go. You know what?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Never seen it. Mark, if you want to unsubscribe and close or turn the show off, I understand. I do. In fact, I'll say another one that I have never seen. Probably Haunted Horses floating around somewhere in this chat. Yep, there he is. I knew this guy was lurking somewhere. Yes, they will give anybody a show these days. I have never seen Die Hard. I have never seen Die Hard. And we do, or I should say, Haunted Horse, Jim Benton, some other clones, they put together at the end of the year a Die Hard Jungle edition. So they take sound clips from the Rome show, from the clones and stuff. Yeah, welcome to the party, pal. That's in that movie. I do know that. But they put the sound drops into the movie at different spots. So it's kind of funny, like where it's like at the Jim Rome twist, but you're also watching Die Hard. So my homework is to see Die Hard before this year's Jungle version, because apparently Haunted Horse says I've got some starring drops in that one. All right, so we'll throw this one in. Scarface. Patrick, off the clock, my man. And yes, I will see Die Hard. I'm not going to see it, though, probably until November would be my guess, because if I watch it too soon, then I'm going to go watch the past Jungle ones, and I don't want to do that. So let's see. Peter, Hoosiers. That's a good movie. That's a good movie, Peter. That will definitely be in the bracket. The Thing, 1982. Don't know it. Haven't seen it. We already got Gladiator. Happy Gilmore. Good job, Romanowski. 2 nights ago with Grant, I was wearing a Happy Gilmore hat. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. I love that movie. Great movie. Saving Private Ryan. I have seen that. That is actually a very intense movie. Moneyball. That's a good movie. I've seen it. Now, my favorite Brad Pitt movie is probably Ocean's 11. And in fact, we have a friend that is in our little text group. We use an app for it, so because we're all across the country. In that movie, he plays Brad Pitt, the Rusty character. But the little inside thing with that is Rusty always has something to eat or drink in every scene of the movie, and that's how one of our friends is. So I started calling him Rusty. You get how it goes. I know you probably don't care. Mason, the Fighter, Christian Bale times Marky Mark. Okay, never. Maybe I have seen the Fighter. Blindside. What's up, Steely Beats? I do like the Blind Side. I don't like what I found out about the Blind Side. Does that kind of change the movie for you at all? To me, I don't know. I kind of don't like that Michael Orr got pushed around, and I get movies sometimes will not follow life to a T, but I could see where Michael Orr could be a little pissed off about the shots at his intelligence, because they did make him seem like kind of a not so smart guy. Coach Carter, I have seen that one. Haven't seen it in a while. It's a good one. Space Jam, yes. Space Jam 1, great. Jam 2, no. Terrible. Awful. With LeGM, not a Space Jam 2 guy. C-Dog hopping back in with Kyrie. Yep, I was wrong about Luka and Kyrie. Didn't think they would mesh this well. Yeah, none of us did. And so it's working out, man. They're playing that brand of basketball that's translating, and you know what's got to really piss you off? I told you last weekend, anybody but Dallas. Anybody but Dallas, in my opinion. Baki, late to the party. Yes. So here's what's on the plate, Baki. We talked about Scotty Scheffler. We talked about Sabonis All-NBA. We haven't gone into depth on the Mike Brown stuff. We're going to hit that here in a little bit. But yes, I need your favorite movie. It started off as favorite sports movie. In fact, if you want to do 2 submissions, you could throw 2 in. Favorite movie and favorite sports movie. That is all good. Alberto Rhino, you had a great one-liner on last night's scrum. I have never heard Grant laugh like that. What did I say? I don't remember, Alberto. I appreciate the love, but I don't remember exactly what I know it was something around basketball. I think, I don't know. Might have been an inside joke with Grant. Another inspiring sports movie, The Hill. I've never seen The Hill. I'm guessing it's about climbing, biking, Tour de France. I bet it's about that. Goodfellas. Okay, there we go. Goodfellas has a vote. AB hopping in with a movie. Pulp Fiction. Okay. I saw Pulp Fiction at a young age, and it was the first time I was exposed to Quentin Tarantino, so I wasn't sure quite what to make of it. I don't think I've seen it since becoming an adult. Maybe I'll go back and watch that one. Baki, he's chiming in with Gladiator. Oh, yeah. Sorry, AB, my bad. I forgot. Cinderella Man, too. That's a boxing one, right? Cinderella Man. I feel like I've seen that. Rocky Saga. All right, there you go. Here we go. We're getting the chat lit up. Dr. Sack. Okay. Hey, Dr. Sacktown, what are you a doctor of? I want to hear from you. He says The Matrix. The Matrix is a good movie. I have seen that one. I can't do it very well. That wasn't very graceful. But yeah, hey, you know what? Get the movies in here. We'll do a bracket. If we have enough of them, we'll do a bracket. Whoops, I meant The Dark Knight Rises. So you would be shocked at some of the things I've not seen. I've not seen all the Star Wars, and that comes from a guy, by the way. I'm going to give you some inside Rhino. My parents have a bathroom in their house that is entirely dedicated to Star Wars. I mean, literally, The toilet paper holder is a lightsaber. It's nuts. And when you turn the lights on, it goes dun 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 dun. Pain in Full, interesting. Don't know that one. Hopping back in, Contog, Empire Strikes Back. There you go. Yeah, like when I grew up, what happened was they had the bathroom was already Star Wars, by the way, but it was like this Star Wars wallpaper, which now is really cool. They still had one strip of it left in there, but they had redone the bathroom, and all of our friends and like our friends, or our family friends, some of our family got pissed. They're like, what happened to Star Wars? I mean, I'm not kidding you. I had friends in school that would ask me if they could come over and use the bathroom to say that they did their business in a Star Wars bathroom. That's how into Star Wars they were. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes. Haunted Horse. Saw Star. Yeah, I know you are captivated by Star Wars. I know that for sure. The Hill is about a baseball player overcoming physical hand. You know what? The Hill. Hey, Haunted Horse. Is that the movie that 12 Wood had the guy on the wood scopes for? One of our buddies may have actually had the guy that movie was about. I don't think it was, but now that I'm thinking about it, not medical, but I have a PhD in social science. Very cool, Dr. Sacktown. I like it. The SpongeBob movie. All right. You know what? I'm surprised. I am really surprised that I have not seen a Will Ferrell movie up here, because Will Ferrell was literally like my dude. I thought and some of the movies I wasn't a big fan of, but the ones that were hits, oh my gosh, that guy had me rolling. Oh yeah, from The Rookie, that's who 12 Wood had. Hey, you know what is an underrated sports movie? Rookie of the Year. Do any of you remember Rookie of the Year? I really liked that one. That was a fun movie. What was it? Henry Rolling Gardner or something? And the coach calls him, one of our buddies, we somehow his nickname became Runamucker, because it was one of the lines the guy said from the movie. No way. You're out. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Not a chance, dude. That is how you get a suspension in the King's Court. Blades of Glory is Will Ferrell's best movie? Come on, dude. Old school. Anchorman. And by the way, have any of you seen Anchorman, the entire second movie that was just all ad-libbed? It was improv. They had so much extra stuff. No, man, there is way better Will Ferrell movies than that. Ma, Meatloaf. We need some Will Ferrell drops up in here. Yeah, Sea-Dog. Hey, Sea-Dog, do a desk pop. I dare you to try a desk pop. No, don't do that, dude. I don't want to be responsible for that. After Blades of Glory, take You Are No Longer Corn Dog. You are Con Dog, right? Yes. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew, Chip. That's a great movie. Good pull, Romanowski. Con Dog, you need to retreat. Con Dog, come on, man. Is that a real take? Are you trolling me, Con Dog? I might need you to call again and explain yourself. You know what? I might put you on trial in the King's Court. In fact, call again. I'm going to cross-examine your for that movie choice. Anyways. All right, getting back to stuff. Keep putting your movies in. I'll get to them. We'll have some fun with that. I don't mind it. Let's get to some of the hard no's or glows. So, hard no is absolutely not with it, don't want it. You know what a hard no is. You know those salesmen, rehash. You remember what rehash means? Remember, everyone has a hidden sale. No, there's no rehashing. It is a hard no, or it's a glow. If it's a glow, it's let's go. We're all in. We are doing it. All right, he's going on trial.
Yep.
Condog. Can you please raise your right hand, sir? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in the king's court is the truth and nothing but the truth? So help you, basketball gods.
I swear.
All right. Are you aware that Will Ferrell is an actor?
Yes, I am.
How long have you enjoyed Will Ferrell's comedy?
Yeah, I think I've watched almost anything he did in the 2000s within the week it came out. From Kicking and Screaming, the Talladega Nights, to Blades of Glory, to Step Brothers.
Yes, some very, very good classics. So then it would be fair to say, Condog, that you realize Will Ferrell came out with numerous movies during that time period.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I acknowledge this.
And would it be fair to say that you have seen some of Will Ferrell's movies multiple times?
Very much I have.
Okay. And you are aware that Old School, Anchorman are just a few of the movies that were out before said, what'd you call it? Blades of Glory came out?
Yes, they did come out before Blades of Glory. That is a fact.
Condog. Napoleon Dynamite. Are you aware of Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes, and I've met John Heater in person, and okay. I've also told him that.
Hey, I didn't ask that question. Hey, you got to stick to what. This is not a testimony. You answer my questions. I am cross-examining you. It's not open mic night. Understood? Next time I'll hold you in contempt. All right. Getting back to business. Are you aware that John Heater's most famous role was not even Blades of Glory?
Yes, I am.
Are you aware that the only reason people find Blades of Glory sometimes funny is because they equate him with Napoleon Dynamite?
I mean, I guess, but they're like two separate different characters.
Condog. They are two separate characters. Condog, did you know John Heater before Napoleon Dynamite?
Maybe only 10 people knew him before Napoleon Dynamite.
And are you aware, or can you recall any work of John Heater since Blades of Glory?
What was it? I'm trying to remember what the timeline was. Was it the Benchwarmers come after or before Blades of Glory? I'll have to look up the release dates on that one. But not too much after.
Is it fair to say that possibly he did such an awful job acting in Blades of Glory that he never got another job?
No.
I'm done. I'm just messing.
I'm about to say what? That was just more of him. I think just being done with acting.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna go into legalese on you, but no, dude, explain yourself though. Really, why do you think that's so much better than the other ones? Yeah, I agree, Horse.
You know what? I absolutely love movies where it's a subject matter that almost no one cares about, and it's the biggest thing ever. Like raise your right hand if you've ever talked about figure skating with anyone. Chat, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, actually, I have, because of the Jim Rome stuff, Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan. Why? So,
okay,
yes.
but besides that, did anyone ever give two rats' ass about figure skating in their life? That isn't a figure skater.
Yeah, a lot of people do. People watch the Olympics for that. I mean, like every year, it seems like around the slow time in sports, you'll see like the national championships or the, world
these guys were getting
championship.
they were getting like the full coverage. It's also the reason why I love dodgeball. Like they were on like ESPN, the Ocho or whatever. It's just, such a sport that like never would get that type of coverage and stuff. And it's just like the biggest thing ever. And come on, I mean, these guys do a final skate scene to Flash by the Queen. Come on, that shit's amazing. It's badass.
I mean, okay, well, okay. All right, you know what? I will let you, and you know what? Everybody is entitled to their opinion. I could debate you all day on
Well,
this,
you know
by the
what?
way.
John
But
Heater, I met John Heater himself, and I said that I think Blades of Glory is his and Will Ferrell's best movie, and he said he'll take it.
because he's only got 2 movies to his name, of course he'll take it.
Oh, you know what? He did Surf's Up, that
Surf's Up.
animated movie with the he was Chicken Joe.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. That's what movies are about. It's personal preference. Everybody equates them to something different, and I will respect your opinion, but I will disagree. I could name like 4 Will Ferrell movies better than that in my mind.
Well, you know what? I think that beginning always sells me on that movie because just the intro to the skaters is so funny.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty over the top. There's no doubt. All right, dude, I appreciate you coming back on. You know what I appreciate? You backed up your take. I love it.
Yep,
So.
I will stand by that one.
Love it, dude. You're still corn dog. No haunted horse. We're not gonna call him corny dog.
Corny dog.
No, you're still corn dog. We're not gonna let horse disrespect you. All right, brother. Be well. Holy crap! Mark, really quick. Not Jackie Moon. Frank the Tank. He's the one. We've got to keep our composure. I think I played that on the King's Court actually one time. You'll find some little funny things in there. It's funny how different movies hit different people. Objections, he's biased because he met him. Hey, great job by you. I don't know how to say it. I say it different every time, but yes, Super Troopers that was a damn good movie. Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant with all the different stuff? Shenanigans. Ah! Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, where out thou? I'm bot trolling. All right, we're back on track for the most part. Let me put my poems in you. That doesn't sound right. Condog. Let me put my poems in you. The Condog's having a rough day, man. Holy moly. Anyways, all right, getting back to business. We're doing our hard nose or glows. Let's start bringing some of these up. Where are we? Yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh. He's all in on that, man. All freaking in. Good for him. I appreciate it. All right, let's bring up our first hard no or glow. Here we go. First hard no or glow. NBA ratings. Grant and I had this discussion yesterday. Many are saying that these playoffs are bad for the NBA. The NBA is dreading having a possible Minnesota-Indiana series. They need Boston to save the ratings. Ratings, my ass. Like, what are we talking about? The NBA is being shopped at between 2.6 and $2.8 billion a year. You think they care about ratings right now? They're beyond that. There is proof of concept in the NBA, and unfortunately, y'all, paywalls are coming. And paywalls will include probably your local regional channels that cover the Kings. Comcast Sports California, regional sports channels are dying. They are. I talked about this probably 3-4 weeks ago, but the regional sports channels, the contracts that they have with these NBA teams guarantee them a certain amount of games. So that is sometimes where you will see your regional team still broadcasting, even though it's a national game. That does not happen if it's a TNT game because TNT has the A rights to the NBA. Or at least part of an A plan, even though ESPN has ESPN ABC, the conference finals. Here's what I'm saying. The NBA has been so skewed in the last 10 years with a lack of parity. There is no way that you can make new stars. There is no way that you can grow your brand by not having new teams in the finals. In fact, I would argue you might not like the ratings this year if it's Minnesota Indy, which I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be mini Boston. The NBA's best case scenario is Dallas and Boston. That is the best case scenario. But guess what? Dallas and Boston is going to turn off a lot of hardcore, or I shouldn't say hardcore, casual basketball fans. You know why? Luka constantly complaining. Boston, inconsistent at times. And Boston, a lot of people don't like Boston. If you're a Knicks fan, you hate Boston. If you get it. There's a lot of Boston fans everywhere. They're transplants, so they're going to watch regardless. But for the NBA game to grow, you have to showcase new stars. And if this postseason is proof of anything, it's that the league, Jerry Reynolds said it best 3 weeks ago. It is quite literally a changing of the guards. It's a changing of the guards. Anthony Edwards taking over, Tyrese Halliburton taking over. So guess what? These guys succeed, whether they make the finals or not. You're going to have a group of fans that are now going to follow those teams a little closer because they have exciting players to watch. And that is how you make small markets appealing. That is what the CBA is exactly targeted at. So as much as the NBA would love to snap their fingers and say anybody can be in the NBA finals and we're still going to have great ratings and we'll grow the game, it doesn't happen that way. This year is the exact example of how you grow ratings, of how you grow the game. So it is an absolute hard no.
How about no?
To me, when I hear this talk about what's bad for the NBA, small markets, bad for the NBA, it is great for the NBA. Now, I'm biased. I've grown up a Sacramento Kings fan, but how many times have you heard nationally that when the Sacramento Kings are good, it's good for the NBA? That goes both ways. That goes that way with Indy. That goes that way with Mini, because you have stars, marketable stars that have the look. They play team basketball. That's the most important thing. You want to talk about something that's turning people off with the ratings? It's the type of basketball that's being played right now, or was being played up until the All-Star break, until Adam Silver decided, hey, guess what? We're just going to let you play really hard because I was pissed about the All-Star game. You ruined my All-Star game, so now we're going to get physical. And look, it's produced better, more intriguing, more engaging basketball. So I am not on the boat that ratings go down. They might go down temporarily, but the ratings are only going to go up from there. So I am, again, 100% a hard no.
How about no?
All right, let's move on to our next one. And now this one is a little close to home, and I actually need some direction from all you. Here we go. Is it a hard no or a glow to sell things that you find thrifting? Now, let's draw the line here. There are people that make a livelihood out of this. They make a business out of it, and that's completely great. I am excluding them from this conversation. But if you're somebody like me that enjoys a good thrift store, enjoys a good deal, not embarrassed to say it, if you're somebody like me and you go in looking to find something for yourself or find something for a loved one, and you stumble upon a pair of Kobe 9s that are in immaculate shape, that are real, they are not fake. You don't have the box. That makes a difference. But they're also a colorway that was a limited colorway that they only released so many pairs of. And you know the Kobe 9s or the Kobe's, the value on those has gone tremendously up since his tragic passing. I would rather have the sneakers be dirt cheap and Kobe Bryant still with us. Talk about just a beautiful basketball mind Kobe was. Grant talks about the immense respect he had for Kobe Bryant. And whether you liked it or not, I can tell you my account as a Sacramento Kings fan about Kobe. You know why I hated him? I hated him because we didn't have him. I didn't hate him for who he was. I didn't hate the player he was. I hated him because I wanted him on my team. So now, getting back to the conversation. Yesterday, I found a pair of those Kobe's. I didn't know they were as valuable as they were. And now I am at a crossroads. No pun intended, because that is a secondhand store here in Sacramento. What's the right move? Do you keep the shoes or do you sell them? I feel like I will be put in thrifting purgatory because I didn't go in with the intention of finding something nice and selling it. In fact, isn't it even worse that you could have left that pair of shoes for somebody else that maybe doesn't have the money to buy a pair of Nikes? And this jerk who has plenty of shoes is flipping shoes? I gotta say, if you're somebody like me not making a business out of thrifting, it is absolutely a...
How about no?
You can't sell them. You can't do it. It's bad karma. You will never find another great thing at a thrift store. That's just the way I see it. Haunted Horse, he's saying flip them. Oh my God, this is not a moral issue. It is to me because I believe in karma. Peter Hoppin and family friend picked up a book signed by Alonzo Stagg at a thrift store in the Valley. It ended up selling to someone in the Jets organization. Interesting. And did anything bad happen to your friend, Peter? I'm just curious. I hope not. But I'm a big karma guy. I feel like I'm stealing from somebody, whether it's the place that I got them or no, it's not from the place that I got them. No, your damn shoes. Don't mark a $1,200 pair of shoes brand new for only $20. Be better. That's a shot at you, Goodwill. That's on you. You should have known what you had. But I think I got to keep the shoes. So for me, and you guys can put your answers in the chat, it's a hard no. I think bad karma would follow me if I sold that pair of shoes. Let's see. When you spend 50 cents and flip it for $200, okay, so it's one of these funny things because my wife already says that I have too many shoes, and boy, is that the kettle calling the pot black, because you walk into our walk-in closet, and I'm not trying to be a Delta Bravo here. My wife's closet, or at least her 3/4 of the walk-in closet, is literally littered on the shelves up top with shoe boxes. It looks like you walked into a stock room, literally a stock room of like Nordstrom's, Macy's, whatever. But yet she gets on me if I pick up a pair of shoes and I don't need them. Well, for her, well, I need them because I need certain shoes to go with certain outfits. Come on, don't play that. So I already ran the risk of walking in this house knowing what I was going to get, because if I don't say, hey, honey, I might buy a pair of shoes, you know what the outcome's going to be when I bring those shoes home? It's going to be, those are ugly. Why'd you buy those? Even if she likes them, she will tell me they are ugly. So I took a risk buying these shoes and bringing them home, even at $20. So, yeah, I think I got to keep them. Haunted Horse. I'm not with it. Let's see. I disagree. If Goodwill lets stuff go like that in the store, it drives tons of traffic for people coming to look for awesome finds. Yes. Now that is true. That is for sure true. Yeah, your wife does. Send them to me and she doesn't need or have to know. Yeah. Yeah, but then the shipping's so expensive these days. So damn expensive. All right, let's get to our next hard no or glow. What is it going to be? Which way do you think we are going? We've already hit on Scotty Scheffler. I don't think we'll do any wrestling. I think I know a good one that y'all might want to talk about. In fact, I have a couple of them that I think we should talk about. Let's talk about whether keeping our boy, who a lot of people, including myself, have been critical of at times, Davion Mitchell, hard no or glow. The question is, should the Kings make an effort to keep Davion Mitchell in Sacramento? Let's talk about Davion's contract for a second. Davion this year will be making $6.6 million. The following year, after that, Davion actually, I believe it is a qualifying offer. Let's see. Let me look at that. So we are completely on point. Yes. So the season after that, 25-26, the Kings can match. They can match because this is Davion's rookie contract. They can match any offer that another team could make for him. Now, Jerry Reynolds has been on the record, very much on the record, talking about how he thinks Davion Mitchell would be very successful or is going to be very successful at a different stop. Jerry says players like him, a lot of time guards, it takes a stop or two. Best example Jerry has used, Kyle Lowry. That is a great example. Now, I'm not saying they're similar players, but it took Kyle Lowry getting to Toronto to really find his niche. And you look at Davion, the way he played in college, the system he played in at Baylor, much different than the system the Sacramento Kings are currently running. And so he's kind of had to try to find a way to fit in. And he's kept a damn good attitude about it the entire time. In fact, most times when Davion fell out of Mike Brown's rotation and then he was called on again, he played really well. And this stretch at the end of the season, he did something that we hadn't seen up until that point in his career in Sacramento. He became a threat offensively, and not just with the three ball. He was putting pressure on the defense. He was distributing. Now, the big question off of that is, what does the sample size look like? Was that a big enough sample size for you to go all in with Davion Mitchell? We still have him under contract for another full year. We know that teams would be interested in him. That is a piece that there is. I know for a fact there has been interest, but the problem is it's not a straight across the table trade or a straight up trade. He'd be a part of something else. So with his contract situation, having him this next year, and then the year after that, you can only do a qualifying offer. He makes him very appealing at the number that he is playing for this year, and with the new CBA going into effect. So I ask you, is it a hard no that no, we need to get rid of Davion Mitchell, or is it a glow? Invest in Davion. Keep him in Sacramento. One of my favorite people in this city. Anita, welcome. How are you? So fun seeing you at Nugget the other day. Yes, absolutely. Yes, keep Davion. It would be a huge mistake to let him go. Now, here's where I'm at. I don't think that we have seen a Mike Brown system in Sacramento yet. We've seen Mike Brown culture in Sacramento, but you can have culture without having a basketball system, a basketball identity. Usually Mike Brown's teams, their identity is defense. It's grittiness, it's physicality. And you know what? Those are all things that Davion Mitchell has. Davion's a little undersized. I know he's looked at as sometimes a spot defender, using him in spots where you need him, whether it's at the end of a quarter or if it's at the end of the game, because his knack for getting on the ball is tremendous. Now, he is also a player that can play you 94 feet. He'll play you end line to end line defensively. And that is something that works really, really well in a Mike Brown system. And that is also something that frees up guys like De'Aaron Fox to play a little bit of a free safety role defensively. Here's the deal. I don't know what the number is going to be for Davion Mitchell. We're too far out. But if the number is reasonable, in my opinion, it is 100% a glow. It is a glow in this sense. If he is not a desired part of any other big move that the Kings may be looking to make. Now, it is 100% it's a glow again if there's a team that would like to trade for Davion. I understand the trade. He is a desirable piece. Are you a little backlogged at that position? Not really. A lot hinges on Monk. But you know what? Davion Mitchell brings his lunch pail every single day. And as much as I look for physical talent in guys, I look for mental toughness just as much. And to me, Davion Mitchell fits both of those roles. So I am in the camp that you do what you can to keep him in Sacramento, especially with Mike Brown in mind. Speaking of Mike Brown, he's where we're going next. I'm going to tip you off. We are going to go to Mike Brown. The reason we're going to go to Mike Brown is because of the recent report. I'm trying to get my boy Mike up here. Deal with me for just 1 second. No, I don't want you, Mavericks. There's my man, Mike. Coach Brown. Hard no or glow? Is it fair? Is it fair that ownership may not be happy with Mike Brown? This is a really hard question to answer. Very hard question to answer. Here's one thing that I know. When things were hard this year with the Kings and things were awkward, Mike Brown was always very candid. He told you what he could. Mike Brown never usually ducks questions. Mike Brown usually hits things head on. Mike Brown brings a culture with him, an experience with him, a respect with him that I don't feel any Sacramento coach has had. And I'm going to keep Mike Malone out of this conversation because his time in Sacramento was so short. And that situation had just as much to do with Boogie as it did with Mike Malone. But look where Mike Malone's at right now. And I don't put Coach Brown too far off from Mike Malone in terms of their mindsets. Now, could Coach Brown be a little bit harder on the guys? Could he? Now, I know that depends on many different aspects. Remember, these guys are professionals. They are professionals. So you got to coach them a little different. You don't have a superstar on this roster. You don't. You have some stars on this roster. You have some all-stars on this roster, but you do not have a bona fide superstar. There's not another team in the NBA that would be paying Domas Sabonis over $50 million, in my opinion. Not a single one. And I get he's one of three in the NBA that plays that position the way that he plays it. Jokic, Şengün, and obviously Domas Sabonis. Okay? But Mike Brown has coached superstars. He knows how superstars need to be handled. You don't usually hear too much negative from LeBron James about Mike Brown. Mike Brown has had 2 teams where he coached the entire season where those guys were the number 1 team in the league at defending the three-point line. So the question becomes, has Mike Brown been given the tools he needs to run the system he wants? Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The Kings were forced into a situation. Sorry, I'll stop doing that. The Kings were forced into a situation to where they had to play a certain way. The only way they were going to win without Malik Monk, without Trey Lyles, was just wanting it more than other teams. It was getting to loose balls. It was being physical. And what happened in that short amount of time after the All-Star break, Sacramento's net rating tripled. It tripled. Okay? That's a big deal. Keon Ellis, big reason for that. But the Keon Ellis thing, great kid. I think he's going to be a really good player. But the thing that was most important about Keon wasn't necessarily Keon's game. It was the type of game that Keon plays. It's a guy that you don't have to draw plays for on the offensive end. There's no expectation to get Keon involved offensively. Now, on the flip side of that, you need a guy that in that position can hit an open shot, a guy that knows how to sometimes put pressure on the defense, right? And to me, that kind of unlocked a new world for Coach Brown. Okay, guess what? Now I can let Foxy do his thing a little more natural. What's Foxy do? Leads the league in steals. Okay, so now you get James Ham's report that ownership may not be happy with Mike Brown. I don't understand how you can have a conversation about ownership not being happy with Mike Brown without also having the conversation about ownership not being happy with Monty McNair. Your front office and your coach should be walking in sync, hand in hand together. I'm not saying that has not happened here in Sacramento, but what I am saying is the majority of the guys on this roster, and maybe you could make an argument that Monty McNair bringing in Chris Duarte, that was more of a Mike Brown kind of signing because Duarte brought that grit. Sometimes he's good offensively, sometimes he's not. But, the big thing for him, staying on the court, okay? But how many moves have been made to benefit this team since Mike Brown became coach? How many? Not many. There's been a few, and they've been smaller moves, which is fine. They have been prudent moves. But if Mike Brown was a coach and a GM, do you think anything would be a little bit different? I don't know. It's a good question. Now, the timing of this report from James Ham, I find a little curious because we are smack in the middle of courting Malik Monk. So I said it at the top of the show, and I'm not reporting anything, but I'm not validating James Ham's report, but I will say his report is consistent with things or some things that I have heard behind the scenes. So could it be a matter of Malik Monk does not like playing for Mike Brown? Could it be Domas doesn't? Could it be De'Aaron? Could it be Davion? Could it be Sasha? We don't know for sure. But Mike Brown in 2 years in Sacramento has made the play-in and made the playoffs. He broke the playoff streak. And don't sit here and tell me that Mike Brown, when he came to Sacramento, planned to say, this is going to be an offensive team. We are going to shoot threes, let them go. We're going to outscore other teams, because that's not what it was. It was defense, defense, defense. And we have only, in my opinion, seen a sample size of 26 games that have been coached and played the way that I believe Mike Brown wants this team to play. So can you give Mike Brown the best of both worlds? Or is it too late for Mike Brown? Does this owner have to, not want to, does this owner have to have a scapegoat because he's not willing to accept what he's looking at in the mirror and the responsibilities he shares for the problems this organization has faced? So I'll ask you this, Sacramento. Where the hell do we turn if Mike Brown is not re-signed in Sacramento? Which way are you going? This is the most stability we have had for 16 years. Culture is a big word. It is a really big word. And this is coming from a guy that was critical of Mike Brown at times for not making adjustments soon enough, for letting the guys play instead of calling a timeout. Critical of the way his challenges were used. Mostly, my biggest criticism was the fact that he was not calling plays all the time. And I don't need a coach, and nor do the players need a coach to micromanage every single trip up the court. However, giving the players all the autonomy in the world to decide how that offense is going to be ran. You could have a game plan. You certainly can, but at the end of the day, the ball's in their hands. And so everybody wants to make an argument that maybe De'Aaron regressed a little bit because he played so much off the ball. Well, how do we put that on Coach Brown if it was the players that were doing that on the floor? And by the way, could you easily see how there could be a conflict amongst the players if you're not touching the ball, if you're not getting shots, if you're not being involved in the offense? And now you've got a coach smack in the middle of it. So to me, this is an absolute no-brainer. I don't care if Malik Monk says, fire Coach Brown. And this isn't a Malik Monk thing. I'm using Malik Monk because he is the biggest piece to the Kings offseason. But I don't care if Malik Monk says, I want Coach Brown out of here, and then I'll come back. Even then, I think it is a bad move, because is Malik Monk going to lead you to a championship? Malik is great, but he ain't that guy. He's not. So the fact that we're even having a discussion about Coach Brown, number one, is not surprising. We saw this coming. As soon as the season ended, he was being asked questions about an extension. And now this extension thing could turn into a distraction, not on Mike Brown's behalf, but just the organization in general, because it is very hard to believe that this team somehow suddenly forgot, and this owner suddenly forgot where the hell they were 3 seasons ago. I hope they come around. Getting rid of Coach Brown, to me, is 100%
How about no?
a hard no. And I don't even think you can judge a coach in 2 years of work. Give the guy a shot, but unfortunately in the NBA, shots are getting smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of windows that you have to succeed. I don't know what more this town, I don't know what more this owner wanted out of Coach Brown. Yeah, the playoffs this year, I understand that, but Mike Brown isn't playing the games. He's not. So I hate to see this talk going on. Expect it to continue. But to me, Coach Brown, your job should be safe, my friend, and you should be extended. And you are worth $10 million, in my opinion, to this franchise. Some people may see it a different way. Hey, y'all, I appreciate all of you. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right, Bane. I appreciate everybody. This has been a fun day. We've talked some movies. We've had Corn Dog on a couple times. He retained his title as Corn Dog, his gloss. He is good, but I disagree strongly with his movie choice for Will Ferrell, man. Blades of Glory. Man, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. Anyways, hey, make it a great day. Don't forget, we will be back 8 o'clock tonight after the end of Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Grant and I will be doing a post-game scrum. We would love to have all of your participation. You can call the show. You can chat the show. You can be a part of it. However, get up in here. I absolutely love it. And I love all of you in the community that we are building here on the King's Court. Make it a great rest of Thursday. Tomorrow, we wrap up the week in the King's Court. Should be a lot of fun. But make sure, again, you join us tonight at 8 o'clock right here on If You Don't Like That. Go Kings! Tedora?
Holy moly, Jim Bowling.
That a girl. Light the damn beam. Enjoy the rest of your day. Court is. Oh, unless you're Condog. Are we going to hold Condog in contempt? And we'll let it go. Anyways, court is dismissed.